One of the key benefits of Affinity for a treasurer is on the rent management side. Before the system was rolled out, I used to record rent on Excel spreadsheets, and I had to individually record the tenant's payment and the RAS. I'd have to tally it all up at the end of the month. In order to issue the quarterly statements, I had to create a separate Excel spreadsheet for each tenant. Now I can input both the tenant's contribution and the RAS onto the system. The system will automatically generate the arrears every week or every month, and I can put the payments against this, and I can generate the statements with the click of a button. Great.
You did reference that you would use Affinity, or you'd look in on Affinity to look at where, your repairs are for your properties in Waterford. Has that had any benefit for you on a personal level? Or? Things coming from inspections, etc., on spreadsheet and try and somehow have a number of how much we were spending on the different categories. Whereas now that's all gathered within Affinity. So for every property that we have, when something we get a phone call in, maybe there's a plumbing issue or whatever, we can set up a work order very quickly. We already have our preferred providers on the system, so we can assign that very quickly. Just seeing how many repairs have been done. If you've got houses in different blocks, one or two estates, how many repairs are we getting the same problem in two or three of those properties that are the same type of property?
I hadn't attempted anything, and I was reading through the manual, and it was suggested that I would try and raise a work order, and I sat down last night, worked my way through. Now, halfway through, I did manage to raise 2 work orders.
How does Affinity look after tenant management?
I can gather all the information about tenants, so I have their names, their contact details, and we record next of kins for the tenants, so if there's any emergency we know who to contact. I have the information if some people might have a key workers, you can have a contact details for their key workers. You can store information about any correspondence you had with the tenant, so if there's any complaints.
Also, there's a nice thing is that when you get started, because we have a centralised sort of all the RTB records, when you go in first, all your properties have been loaded for you. You don't have to key that all in.
So time saving as well, we can do a circular of all tenants, in one go is very good, very useful.
We have to get, say, testing on emergency lights, fire alarm systems, just to mention a few that have to be done quarterly. So you can track it on the computer, and again it can generate a report. Those 10 houses all have to get certain things done to be in compliance with fire safety regulations or building regulations, and the work orders will be raised because it'll be a flag and then repeated and checked. But it can all be done from, when you have your conference meeting, I would say automatically be looking at that screen as part of the meeting and seeing what haven't we done, or why haven't we done that? Did we not get anybody to quote on the fire alarm system, for I would say, stuff like that.
What's very useful on the safety management side is the alerts that you can get for your safety checks.
Yes.
So you can just go into the report section and go into your alerts, and there is a safety check alert, which gives you the amount of days left until your next safety check. So we all need to be compliant and really aware of that.
So from a compliance and governance point of view, when it comes to asset management, it's all there. And even more obscure ones, for example, all of our tradesmen, we have to have their insurance details on file. Yeah. Now you could easily forget for 12 months or more to get your man's new insurance cert. So the fact that it's like an alarm clock going off is very, very handy. That's a great feature.
We are due to undertake our own structural surveys of the properties, and before July, I think it is, we have to have them done. Those reports and everything will be in Affinity, because it's the only way that we can all gather the information, process the information, and it's there for everybody.